Do you feel something inside you awakening? Something ancient? Something divine? What if I told you that the very name you carry is not just a label? It's a key that opens doors angels themselves bow to. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why your name carries weight in the heavens. Chosen one. Before we unlock this mystery, I need you to pause for a second. If your spirit is already vibrating with this truth, do not let this moment pass in silence. The enemy loves to snatch away wisdom the moment you scroll past. Subscribe right now to lock in your connection to this channel. Don't miss the confirmation God has queued up for you next just because you forgot to press a button. Most of us go through life thinking our identity is defined by the name written on our birth certificate. You answer to it when the doctor calls you, you sign it on documents, and you introduce yourself to strangers with it. But have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like that name doesn't quite fit the magnitude of who you are inside? That is because the name the world knows you by is often just a shell. It is a container for your earthly existence, but it is not the truth of your spirit. We need to talk about the concept of spiritual identity versus social identity. Your social identity is what people see. It is defined by your job, your family history, and sometimes even your past mistakes. The world loves to label you. They might name you shy, troubled, anxious, or average. But those are not your names. Those are just stickers people try to put on you to make themselves feel comfortable. The truth is, before you were born, God gave you a new name that reflects your divine purpose, transcending all these earthly identities. This isn't just poetic language. It is a spiritual reality. Throughout history, whenever the Creator wanted to use someone mightily, He often changed their name or revealed a hidden title. He does this to separate who you were raised to be from who you were created to be. You are currently living in a time where that old identity is crumbling, which is why you feel so restless. You are outgrowing the shell because the new name is trying to emerge. This is where it gets powerful. This new name holds power not just on earth, but in the spiritual realm, where angels and forces beyond comprehension respect it. You see, the spiritual world operates on authority and rank, not on appearance. When you walk into a room, human beings might just see a regular person. They might judge you by your clothes or your bank account. But the angels assigned to you, they do not look at your outer shell. They hear the frequency of your God-given name. Think of it like a military operation. A soldier might look like anyone else when they are in civilian clothes, but the moment they step onto the base and present their rank, the gates open and others salute. Your new name is your spiritual rank. It is the signature that God has placed on your spirit. When you are aligned with this true identity, you don't have to beg for doors to open. The angels see your rank. They recognize the name God has given you, and they move obstacles out of your way because they are under orders to assist the one who carries that specific authority. This is why you have felt so misunderstood for so long. You've been trying to operate in a world that only recognizes your shell, while your spirit has been screaming to be recognized for its true power. That internal conflict you feel, that is not depression or confusion. That is a spiritual awakening. It is your soul rejecting the smallness of the labels people put on you. You have been trying to fit a divine purpose into a mundane box, and it doesn't fit. The struggle you are facing right now is actually a good sign. It means the old you is dying so the true you can take over. The enemy knows this too. That is why there is so much resistance in your life. If you were truly average, the dark forces wouldn't bother with you. They attack you because they see the name written on your spirit. Even when you can't see it yourself, they are afraid of who you are becoming. We're going to go on a journey to uncover this authority. We're going to strip away the lies you have been told about yourself. You are not who they say you are. You are who He says you are. And once you lock into that identity, the atmosphere around you changes. Chaos calms down. Anxiety loses its grip. Why? Because you stop acting like a victim and start walking like a chosen one who knows their clearance level in the spirit. I want you to take a moment and acknowledge this shift. You are here for a reason. You clicked this video because your spirit recognizes the truth. If you've ever felt like something more powerful is calling you, comment below with, "I am called," and share what you think your new name might be. It could be a word like healer, warrior, peace, or builder. Speak it into existence now because the angels are listening. The three physical signature, name is changing. Before you even hear the name, your body begins to react to it. Have you been waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. with no explanation? Do you hear a ringing in your ear that doctors can't explain? This isn't medical, it's spiritual. You need to understand that spiritual changes don't just happen in your mind, they happen in your biology. Your body is the hardware, and your spirit is the software. When God installs a massive update, your new name, the hardware, is going to lag, overheat, and glitch while it processes this new power. You have been running to doctors, therapists, and sleep specialists trying to fix what you think is a problem. But it's not a malfunction, it's an upgrade. Let's talk about the first sign, the divine wake-up call. It happens almost like clockwork. You fall asleep tired, but suddenly, at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., your eyes snap open. You aren't groggy, you are wide awake. The house is silent, the world is asleep, but you feel an urgency, like you're late for a meeting you didn't schedule. This is the watchman's hour. In ancient times, the watchmen were the ones trusted to stay awake while the city slept to protect it from danger. If this is happening to you, it's because your new name carries the rank of a watchman. The spiritual realm is waking you up because the veil is thinnest at this time, and there is information or instructions downloading into your spirit that you're too distracted to catch during the day. While your family and friends are snoring, sleeping a deep, dreamless sleep, you are awake. This is the us versus them distinction, right here. Normal people sleep soundly because they are not being called to duty. They are civilians in the spirit. You are active duty. The disruption in your sleep is proof of your selection. Don't fight it. Don't reach for the sleeping pills immediately. In those quiet hours, your spirit is being tuned to the frequency of your new identity. The second sign is what I call chosen fatigue. This isn't just being tired from a long day at work. This is a deep, heavy exhaustion that hits you out of nowhere. You could sleep for 10 hours and still wake up feeling like you ran a marathon. Why? Because while your body rests, your spirit is fighting. We touched on spiritual warfare earlier, but you must realize that receiving a new name makes you a threat to the darkness. When you sleep, you are often battling in the spiritual realm to secure your new territory. This takes a toll on the physical body. You are exhausted because you are doing double duty, living a human life by day and fighting a spiritual war by night. People around you will call you lazy or unmotivated. They don't understand that you are carrying a weight of glory they can't see. The third sign is the ringing in the ears or sudden pressure changes. Now, obviously, always check with a doctor to rule out medical issues. But for many of you, the doctor says, "You're fine, everything looks normal." Yet, you hear a high-pitched frequency. In the Bible and ancient texts, sound often preceded the arrival of angels or the voice of God. That ringing is often a sign that your spiritual hearing is being adjusted. Your old self operated on a low-frequency gossip, fear, complaints. Your new name operates on a high-frequency truth, revelation, authority. That ringing is the friction of your spirit calibrating to this higher level. It's like tuning a radio. You get static before you get the clear signal. Your body is trying to house a voltage it wasn't built for yet. It shakes, it tires, and it reacts. If you didn't have a destiny, you wouldn't have these symptoms. You would just be comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of growth. The fact that you are physically uncomfortable in your own skin right now is the greatest evidence that you are transforming. You are shedding the old skin. So stop medicating the symptoms away and start listening to them. Your body is telling you that you are no longer who you used to be. You are undergoing a metamorphosis. Are you experiencing the chosen fatigue or the divine wake-up call? Let us know in the comments. Don't just suffer in silence. Seeing that thousands of others are feeling the exact same thing will confirm that you aren't crazy. You are just chosen. The spiritual battle for your true identity. Every person who carries a divine name faces opposition. And you felt it. The doors that should have opened for you slammed shut. The people who should have embraced you pushed you away. But let me tell you something that will change how you see your past. It was not by accident. It wasn't bad luck. And it certainly wasn't because you weren't good enough. It is spiritual warfare. And now you're about to understand why. The moment a person starts waking up to their divine identity, they become a target. Think about it. When you were asleep, when you were just drifting through life, accepting whatever scraps the world threw you, life was relatively calm. You didn't have this constant resistance. Why? Because you weren't a threat. You were dormant. But the second you started asking questions, the second your spirit began to vibrate with that new name we talked about, you appeared on the enemy's radar. We need to identify them. We often talk about haters or toxic people, but those are just the physical vessels. The real enemy is the spiritual force that tries to suppress the power of the chosen ones. These forces are the dream stealers. They are the guardians of the status quo. Their entire job is to keep you in line, to keep you average, and to silence the divine frequency you are starting to emit. They know that if you fully step into your name, you will change the world around you, and they cannot allow that. So, how do they fight you? They don't always come with a frontal attack. They are smarter than that. They use confusion and distraction. How do you notice that every time you decide to improve your life, chaos breaks out? You decide to start a business, and your car breaks down. You decide to pray more, and a family argument erupts out of nowhere. You decide to focus on your health, and you get hit with a sudden wave of depression. These distractions are calculated. The enemy uses them to make you doubt your purpose. They want you to look at the chaos and say, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not chosen. If God was with me, shouldn't this be easy? That is the lie. The presence of the battle is not a sign of God's absence. It is the proof of your value. These do not break into empty houses. They only come to steal where there is treasure. The intensity of the attack against you is a direct measuring stick for the value of the new name you carry. This battle isn't just happening out there in the world. It is happening inside your head. The enemy's favorite weapon is self-doubt. They will whisper to you that you are an imposter. They will remind you of every mistake you made 10 years ago to convince you that you are disqualified. They try to make you believe that this new name is just your imagination. They want you to trade your divine identity for your old comfortable chains. But you have to realize that this resistance is actually a confirmation. The door slammed shut because you were about to walk into a room that was too small for your destiny. The people walked away because they couldn't handle the weight of your future. You are in a spiritual boot camp. You are being forged in the fire because the rank you are about to step into requires strength that only comes from resistance. You are not crazy, and you are not cursed. You are under siege because you are valuable. The enemy is terrified of the moment you stop fighting yourself and start fighting for your destiny. Have you ever felt like you were attacked when you were close to reaching your breakthrough? Right. I felt the resistance in the comments. Let's confuse the enemy by showing them that we know their tactics, and we are not backing down. The black sheep mystery. Why they reject you. Why is it always your own family? Why is it your oldest friends who suddenly turn into strangers? It's not because you did something wrong. It's because your new name burns their demons. This is often the hardest part of the journey. You can handle enemies at work, and you can ignore trolls on the internet. But when the coldness comes from the people you grew up with, the people you sat at the dinner table with, it cuts deep. You find yourself asking, what did I do? You replay conversations in your head, wondering if you were too sensitive or if you said something offensive. Let me stop you right there. You didn't do anything. You just evolved. You need to understand the physics of the spiritual realm. Spirits operate on frequencies. When God gives you a new name, He raises your voltage. You are vibrating at a level of truth, integrity, and divine purpose. When you walk into a room carrying this new spiritual authority, people living in low vibrations, people holding on to jealousy, bitterness, or hidden secrets start to feel physically uncomfortable around you. They won't be able to explain it. They might say, "You've changed," or "You think you're better than us now." But what is really happening is that your light is irritating their demons. Imagine sitting in a dark room for hours, and then someone suddenly turns on a bright floodlight. Your immediate reaction isn't to say thank you. It is to squint, cover your eyes, and get angry. That is what your spirit is doing to them. Your presence exposes the shadows they are trying to hide. This is why you are the black sheep. Society uses that term as an insult, implying you are the outcast or the problem child. But in the kingdom of God, the black sheep is the chosen one. You are the one who broke the generational curse. You are the one who refused to just go along with the dysfunction. They reject you because you remind them of the potential they wasted. You are a walking mirror, and they don't like the reflection they see. You have to stop viewing this separation as a loss. I know it hurts to lose a best friend of 20 years, or to be left out of family gatherings. But you have to flip the script. This rejection is not a punishment. It is a divine protection mechanism. God is removing people from your life because they cannot go where you are going. If they stayed attached to you, they would be dead weight. They would drain your energy, distract you from your mission, and anchor you to the past. The new name you carry requires a clean circle. You cannot build a kingdom with people who are committed to tearing down your foundation. Think about it. Whenever you are around them, do you feel drained? Do you feel like you have to shrink yourself to fit in? That is your spirit warning you that the connection is expired. God is actually saving you by making them walk away. He is hardening their hearts against you so that they release you. If they hadn't rejected you, you would have stayed out of loyalty, and you would have missed your destiny. So, stop chasing people who are assigned to your history, not your destiny. Stop trying to explain your growth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. They are not rejecting you. They are rejecting the light that is blinding them. It is time to make peace with the empty seats at your table. Those seats are being cleared for people who can pronounce your new name, people who will celebrate your power, not be intimidated by it, who felt the sudden shift in their relationships this year. Comment protection if you realize their rejection was actually God saving you. Let's celebrate the smaller, tighter, stronger circle God is building for you. Angles now your name and honor your purpose. Do you ever wonder why certain things have always seemed meant to be? Why, when you were at your lowest, you felt an unexplainable pull to keep going? You weren't alone. The angels have been guiding you this entire time, and they know your name. We just talked about how humans, even your own family, might reject you because of the light you carry. But here's the beautiful flip side of that coin. While the world might misunderstand you, the kingdom of heaven knows exactly who you are. In fact, you are famous in the spiritual realm. You need to realize that you have a security detail. We often think of angels as distant figures in old paintings, but the reality is much more practical and intense. Angels are assigned to each person, especially those with a divine mission. They are not random, they are specific. Just as a high-ranking general is assigned elite bodyguards, your new name carries a level of importance that requires specific angelic assistance. They are not guarding your physical body as much as they are guarding your purpose. Think back to the moments in your life that didn't make sense. The car accident you walked away from without a scratch. The financial disaster that should have ruined you, but a solution appeared at the last second. The time you were heartbroken and lying on the floor, and suddenly a wave of unexplainable peace washed over you. You thought that was luck? You thought that was just resilience? No, that was your team. Your unseen helpers honor the name given to you by God. When God gives you a new name, He is essentially issuing a command to the spiritual realm to cooperate with your destiny. Angels respect authority. When you walk into a situation, they don't see your clothes or your bank account. They see the spiritual title hovering over you. They see healer, prophet, cycle breaker, and because they respect the God who gave you that name, they respect you. This explains why you have always felt different, even as a child. You felt an emotional connection to the unseen world. While other kids were just playing, you felt like you were being watched, protected, and guided. You felt a responsibility to be good, to be honest, even when no one was looking. That was your spirit resonating with the angelic company you keep. They operate on a higher frequency, and they have been assisting you on your mission to make your journey purposeful. It is time to stop feeling lonely. Loneliness is a lie from the enemy to make you feel vulnerable. How can you be lonely when you are surrounded by the armies of heaven? The rejection you faced in the physical world created a vacuum that allowed you to become sensitive to the spiritual world. The humans left so you could hear the angels. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to prove your worth to them. They already know. They are waiting for you to step into the authority of your new name so they can fully partner with you. They are waiting for you to give them instructions through your prayers and your faith. When you speak in alignment with your new name, angels move. So the next time you feel isolated, remember that the room is crowded with beings who want you to win. They are cheering for you. They are holding back the winds of destruction so you can stand tall. You are respected in high places, and that matters infinitely more than being liked in low places. Can you feel the presence of something greater in your life? Have you felt like you've been watched over? Type "I feel guided" below if you agree. Why your name was hidden out? Why was your true name hidden from you? Why did it feel like something was blocking your clarity? The answer lies in the divine plan. It's timing. You have likely spent years shouting at the ceiling, asking God, "Who am I? Why am I here?" You watched other people find their paths, start their careers, and build their lives while you felt stuck in a fog. It felt like a punishment. It felt like you were being ignored, but I need you to understand that silence is not the same thing as rejection. In the kingdom, silence is often a strategy. Listen closely. I know you are used to watching from the shadows, quietly soaking in the truth, just taking everything in. But let's be honest, you didn't find this video by accident. It found you. If this is touching your soul, don't leave without joining the family. Hit that subscribe button right now. There is no glory in walking through spiritual warfare alone when an entire army of chosen ones is right here waiting to walk with you. The divine name God gave you was hidden for a very specific reason: protection. Think about it honestly. If you had known who you truly were 10 years ago, you wouldn't have survived it. You weren't ready. If God had handed you this level of spiritual authority when you were immature, insecure, or desperate for validation, two things would have happened. First, your own ego would have destroyed you. You might have used your gifts to impress people rather than to serve a purpose. You might have built a platform before you built your character, and the platform without character is just a trapdoor waiting to open. The weight of the glory would have crushed you because your spiritual muscles hadn't developed yet. Second, and even more dangerous, is the enemy we talked about. If the full extent of your power had been revealed too early, the dark forces would have launched an all-out assault to take you out. Before you were strong enough to fight back, God hid you in the shadow of His hand. He deliberately put a veil over your eyes and the eyes of those around you. He let people underestimate you. He let people overlook you. He even let you doubt yourself. Why? To keep you off the radar until you were dangerous enough to win the war. This delay was not a denial. It was incubation. You were being cooked. You were being forged. Look at the struggles you've survived in the last few years. The heartbreak, the financial tightropes, the loneliness. Those weren't random tragedies. That was your training ground. You had to learn how to stand alone so you wouldn't crumble when the crowd left. You had to learn how to pray when you didn't feel like it. You had to learn how to trust God when the bank account was empty. Those lessons were the prerequisites for the name. You couldn't carry the title of a general if you hadn't survived the trenches of a private. The reason the clarity is coming now in this specific season is because you are finally strong enough to bear the weight of the answer. You had been tested, and you didn't break. You bent, you cried, you maybe even gave up for a day or two, but you are still here. That resilience is the proof that you are ready. So, stop regretting the wasted time. None of it was wasted. It was all preparation. The confusion kept you humble. The waiting kept you hungry. And now, the timing is perfect. The veil is being lifted not because God changed His mind, but because you have grown into the person who can finally wield the weapon He created you to be. The enemy can see you now, but it's too late for them to stop you because you already know how to fight. Did you feel like your time hadn't come yet? Like you were waiting for something to unlock? Let me know by typing, "I've been waiting" in the comments. Your wait is over. The lock is turning. The awakening, when you realize who you are. At some point, everything will start to make sense. The hardships, the loneliness, the rejection, it will all come together. And in that moment, you'll awaken to the truth. This is your moment of realization. The time when your divine name becomes a reality. You spend so much of your life feeling like you are walking through a maze blindfolded. You bump into walls, you trip over obstacles, and you constantly ask, why is this so hard? But then, the awakening happens. It isn't always a dramatic lightning bolt from the sky. Sometimes it is a quiet click. It's the moment the blindfold falls off, and you look back at the maze you just navigated. Suddenly, you don't see a mess of random pain. You see a path. You see a pattern. This awakening is the moment where your earthly identity collapses and your spiritual identity takes the driver's seat. You stop identifying with your trauma. You stop introducing yourself by your past mistakes. You realize that every single person who walked out of your life was clearing space for this version of you to emerge. You realize that every job you lost was actually a blocked exit, so you wouldn't settle for less than your assignment. When this realization hits, the fog lifts. Life becomes clearer as you start to recognize your true mission. You stop wondering why you are different. You stop trying to suppress your intuition or your sensitivity. You realize that your sensitivity was never a weakness. It was your antenna. You realize that your inability to tolerate fake people wasn't arrogance. It was your discernment protecting your gift. You stop fighting your own nature and you start leaning into it. This is where the new name we talked about stops being a concept and starts being a lifestyle. You begin to walk differently. You don't engage in petty arguments anymore because you realize a general doesn't argue with foot soldiers. You don't chase after people anymore because you realize a king or queen doesn't beg for attention. You simply exist in your power, and you let the world adjust to you. There is a profound joy and clarity that comes with this realization. It is not the giddy happiness of a child getting a toy. It is the deep, grounded peace of a soldier who knows they have won the war before the battle even finishes. It is the relief of finally knowing the rules of the game you have been playing your whole life. Even if the path forward is challenging, you are no longer afraid of it. You know that if you survived the dark years when you didn't know who you were, you can certainly survive anything now that the lights are on. You accept this new name because it aligns with your soul and your divine destiny. You look in the mirror and you finally recognize the person staring back at you. You aren't the victim. You are the outcast. You are the solution to a problem God saw in the world, and He sent you here to fix it. This awakening changes how you view your future. You stop worrying about making it, and you start focusing on being it. You understand that your provision, your relationships, and your opportunities are all tied to this identity. When you accept who you are, the universe exhales and starts to serve you. Have you felt a shift in your life recently, where everything just started clicking? Comment, "I'm awakening," if that resonates with you. Acknowledgement is the first step to permanent change. Claim it right now. How to silence the mokers without spaking. The most powerful lion doesn't roar at every dog that barks. When you accept your new name, you lose the need to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. For years, you've probably fallen into a very specific trap. Someone questions your dreams, or a family member makes a snide comment about your choices, and your immediate instinct is to defend yourself. You pull out your charts, your plans, and your heart, and you lay it all on the table. You try to make them see what you see. You think, if I just explain it clearly enough, they will respect me. But they never do they? They just take the information you gave them and use it as ammunition to hurt you later. The reason this keeps happening is that you are trying to use logic in a spiritual battle. The mockers, the doubters, and the critics are not looking for information. They are looking for a reaction. They are energy vampires. When you defend yourself, you are feeding them. You are handing over your power on a silver platter. But everything changes when you fully step into the authority of your new name. When you realize that God has stamped you with a divine identity, you realize that you no longer need human validation to exist. A king does not step off his throne to argue with a peasant in the street. A general does not stop a war council to explain his strategy to a private who doesn't even have security clearance. When you argue with people beneath your spiritual pay grade, you are lowering your rank. So, how do you handle them? You use the most aggressive weapon in your arsenal: silence. I am not talking about the silence of fear, where you shut down because you are intimidated. I am talking about the silence of mastery. It is the silence that says, I know who I am, and I don't need you to agree with me for it to be true. When a mocker tries to bait you when they say, "Oh, you're still working on that little project," or "I thought you'd be further along by now," your old self would get angry. Your old self would list your accomplishments. Your new name simply smiles. You look them in the eye, you hold your gaze, and you say absolutely nothing. Or maybe you just say, "That's an interesting opinion," and you go back to what you were doing. Do you know what that does to them? It burns. It drives them crazy, because they are expecting you to dance. They're expecting you to get emotional, to cry, or to fight. When you give them nothing, you starve their demons. You prove that they no longer have the remote control to your emotions. You prove that their opinion of you has zero value in your economy. This is how you rise above. You treat their negativity like background noise. You have to view these people like static on a radio. You don't scream at the radio to stop the static. You just tune into a different frequency. You simply vibrate higher. You focus so intensely on your mission and your connection with the divine that their voices literally fade away. This level of self-control is what separates the chosen ones from the crowd. The crowd is noisy. The crowd is always bickering, competing, and comparing. The chosen one is observant. You are preserving your energy for the things that matter. You are saving your voice for speaking to mountains, not for arguing with fools. The Bible warns not to cast your pearls before swine. Your dreams, your visions, and your new name are the pearls. The mockers are the swine. If you throw your precious things at them, they will trample them and then turn to attack you. Stop giving holy things to people who only have an appetite for mud. Embrace the power of being mysterious. Let them wonder what you are doing. Let them assume you failed while you are quietly building an empire in the shadows. Let them gossip while you grind. The results will speak so loudly that you won't ever have to open your mouth. Are you done explaining your dreams to small minds? Comment silence is power to claim your peace today. Let's make a pact right now to stop feeding the enemy our energy. Type 442 to seal your spiritual protection against every tongue that rises against you. The moment you step into your power, everything changes once you step into your full power. Your new name is more than just a title. It's a key to unlock your gifts and fulfill your divine mission. When you finally stop fighting your identity and accept it, the lock clicks open. You stop feeling like a guest in your own life and start acting like the owner. I need you to stop right here and ask yourself a hard question. If you still haven't subscribed, what is holding you back? Every time you cry out for clarity, every time you feel overwhelmed, the algorithm brings you back to messages like this. Do not reject the lifeline heaven is extending. Subscribe now so you remain tethered to the voice that speaks life into you when the rest of the world tries to drain you. The first thing you will notice is the unlocking of spiritual gifts that have been dormant inside you. For years, you might have had gut feelings that you ignored because you didn't trust yourself. But now, that intuition becomes your greatest weapon. It sharpens into a precise lie detector. When someone speaks to you, you don't just hear their words, you hear their intentions. You can sense when a situation is a trap before you even step foot in it. This isn't paranoia. It is the intelligence of your new name operating in real time. You stop making the same mistakes because you finally trust the internal guidance system God gave you. You will also discover a gift of healing, not necessarily in a medical sense, but in an atmospheric sense. You become a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer just reflects the temperature of the room. If the room is chaotic, the thermometer is chaotic. But a thermostat sets the temperature. When you step into your power, you bring peace into chaos. You walk into a stressful meeting or a tense family gathering, and your presence alone calms the storm. People will start coming to you just to sit near you because your spirit carries a rest that they are desperate for. This transformation impacts every single area of your life, from your career to your relationships. In your work, the imposter syndrome that has plagued you for years dissolves. Why? Because imposter syndrome comes from trying to be someone you aren't. When you are operating in your new name, you know you are qualified, not because of a degree, but because of a calling. You stop begging for opportunities and you start attracting them. You stop working for applause and start working for impact. The desperation leaves your voice, and when desperation leaves, respect enters. In your relationships, the dynamic shifts completely. You stop accepting the bare minimum. You stop trying to convince people to love you. Because you know your value, you naturally set boundaries that others have to respect. You will find that the users and takers naturally fall away because they can no longer manipulate you. You become unmanipulatable. You possess a newfound confidence and clarity that the chosen one feels once they own their true identity. This is the moment you feel unstoppable. It's not an arrogant pride. It is a quiet, dangerous certainty. You wake up in the morning with a mission. You look at the problems in your life and you don't see them as mountains anymore. You see them as stepping stones. You realize that the very things that used to intimidate you are now afraid of you. The anxiety that used to paralyze you is replaced by a driving force to get things done. You are no longer waiting for permission to be great. You are no longer waiting for the world to validate you. You have the stamp of approval from the highest authority in the universe, and that is the only license you need to operate. You are walking in high definition while everyone else is still watching in black and white. Have you ever felt like you were on the verge of something incredible, that you were just about to tap into a hidden strength? Comment, I am ready if you feel it too. Step into it. The world is waiting for the real you. The final battle. Embark in your divine role. The final battle isn't about fighting demons or enemies. It's about embracing the power inside you. Once you claim your new name, you claim your role in the spiritual battle. You are a beacon of light in a dark world, and nothing can stop you. We have spent a lot of time talking about what happens to you, the attacks, the rejection, the physical symptoms, but now we need to talk about what you are going to do about it. The final hurdle in this journey is not external, it is internal. It is the battle between the comfort of your smallness and the terror of your greatness. The enemy knows they can't stop God from calling you. They can't stop the angels from protecting you. So, their last resort is to make you afraid of your own potential. They want you to look at this new name, this heavy mantle of authority, and say, I can't do this, it's too much, pick someone else. This is the moment where many people fail. They get the revelation, but they refuse the responsibility. You have to understand that accepting your new name is an act of war against the darkness. When you agree to be who God made you to be, you are essentially enlisting in the army of light. You are no longer a civilian. You are a light worker. I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but let's break down what it actually means in simple English. It means you are the designated driver for humanity. Look around you. The world is drunk on chaos. People are addicted to outrage, fear, and division. They are stumbling around in the dark, hurting each other. Your role, your final battle, is to stay sober in a drunk world. Your mission is to hold the frequency of peace when everyone else is panicking. Your job is to bring clarity when everyone else is confused. This is why it is a battle. It is easy to get sucked into the drama. It is easy to hate people who hate you. But your new name requires you to be different. You are called to elevate the consciousness of the planet. That sounds huge, but it happens in small moments. It happens when you choose to forgive instead of getting revenge. It happens when you speak truth in a room full of liars. It happens when you walk with your head high, refusing to be a victim. You are a beacon. A lighthouse doesn't run around the island looking for boats to save. It just stands there and shines. It stays grounded on the rock, and its light cuts through the fog so others can find their way home. That is you. By simply existing in your true identity, you give other people permission to find theirs. The resistance you will face now won't be about stopping you. It will be about compromising you. The world will try to convince you to dim your light just a little bit to make others comfortable. They will say you're too intense or you're too spiritual. Do not listen. The darkness always complains about the light. That is not your problem. That is their nature. You have the tools and the strength to rise above it now. You have gone through the fire of rejection, the confusion of the waiting period, and the awakening of your gifts. You are battle-tested. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago. That person would have quit. You are still standing. The world is waiting for you to take your post. There are people whose destiny is tied to yours. They are waiting for you to walk in your purpose so they can see the path to walk in theirs. If you shrink back now, you aren't just hurting yourself. You are delaying the freedom of everyone you were sent to help. The war is won the moment you stop apologizing for your power. It is won the moment you look in a mirror and say, I accept the assignment. Are you ready to embrace your divine mission? Ready to stand tall as the person you were always meant to be? Let me know by commenting. I am here to serve. Your shift starts the moment you type those words. The Remnant and the Elite. You are not just a random soul. You are part of a specific lineage, a remnant chosen for this exact year, this exact generation. The angels respect your name because they know your rank. We need to have a serious conversation about status. In the physical world, status is determined by money, fame, or how many followers you have online. But in the spiritual world, status is determined by your assignment. You have spent years feeling like an outsider, wondering why you don't fit in with the crowd. That is because you were never meant to be part of the crowd. You are part of the remnant. The concept of the remnant is ancient. Throughout history, whenever the world fell into chaos, corruption, or confusion, the Creator always preserved a small elite group of people to set things right. They weren't the majority. They were the exception. They were the ones who refused to compromise. They were the ones who held the line when everyone else was selling out. That is who you are. You are not general infantry. In a military, you have the regular soldiers, the masses, who march in big lines and follow basic orders. But then, you have the special forces, the Navy SEALs, the elite units. These groups are small, highly trained, and sent on the most dangerous, critical missions. They operate in the dark. They don't get the parades, but they are the ones who actually win the wars. God held you back for this specific time in history because you are His special forces. The angels bow to the name you carry because they recognize your clearance level. They know that when you speak, it isn't just a suggestion. It is a decree from headquarters. You have been wondering why your life has been so hard compared to others. It is because the training for the elite is harder than the training for the masses. You don't put a Navy SEAL through basic training. You put them through hell, because you need to know they won't break when the mission gets real. This creates a necessary urgency. Look around you. The world is getting stranger by the day. Systems are failing. People are anxious. The old ways of doing things are collapsing, while the rest of the world is hitting the panic button. You are feeling a strange sense of calm. That is your activation signal. You are built for this storm. This is the ultimate us versus them distinction. Them, the sleeping majority, are distracted. They are obsessed with entertainment, celebrity gossip, and petty politics. They are spiritually asleep at the wheel. But us, the remnant, we are waking up. We are realizing that we are the stabilizers in a shaking world. You have to stop trying to blend in with people who do not have your clearance. You are trying to have deep, spiritual conversations with people who are only authorized to talk about the weather. It frustrates you, and it confuses them. Stop casting your pearls before swine. Accept your elite status. You are different because you are necessary. The angels are waiting on you. They are standing at attention, waiting for the remnant to take their positions. This is not a game, and this is not a rehearsal. You were born for 2026 and beyond. You were saved for the fourth quarter of the game because that is when the best players are put on the field. Do not let false humility rob you of this truth. Admitting you are chosen isn't arrogance. It is agreement with God. You are part of the solution. You are the answer to someone's prayer. The time for hiding is over. The time for activation is now. Do you feel the urgency in the spirit? Comment, "I am activated," if you are ready to lead. Let's see how many elite warriors are present in this room right now. The divine purpose of your name and what's next. The name God gave you isn't just for this life, it's for eternity. Your mission is far from over. In fact, this is just the beginning. We often get so caught up in the temporary struggles of our daily lives, the bills, the arguments, the job stress, that we forget the scale of what is actually happening. You are an eternal being having a temporary human experience. The new name we have been discussing is not just a nickname for your time on Earth. It is your permanent signature in the cosmos. It is the name you will answer to long after you leave this physical body. This perspective changes everything. It means that the work you are doing on your character right now, the battles you are winning in private, matter forever. You might be feeling tired right now. We have covered a lot of ground, from the pain of rejection to the intensity of spiritual warfare. But I want to reassure you of one thing. Nothing you have gone through was in vain. The challenges you face are part of your mission, and you are equipped to handle whatever comes. God does not send soldiers into battle without armor. The reason you have survived 100% of your bad days is that your new name acts as a shield. The enemy threw everything at you: depression, lack, betrayal, trying to get you to drop your name and quit. But you didn't. You are still here. That proves that the equipment works. You are not a victim of your life. You are the master of your assignment. The confusion is gone. You now know why you felt different. You know why the sleep was broken. You know why the friends left. It was all a clearing process. God was emptying your hands so he could fill them with something heavier and more valuable. So, what is next? You are standing at the threshold of a new chapter. This is the part where you stop just surviving and start thriving. The new name is your permission slip to take up space. It is your license to walk into rooms you used to be afraid of. It is your authority to heal, to build, and to lead. This is just the beginning of your spiritual journey, and your true purpose is unfolding right now. Do not look at your age, your bank account, or your past failures and think it is too late. In the spiritual realm, time is not linear. God can do more in 6 months of alignment than you could do in 10 years of striving. You are entering a season of acceleration. Things that used to take years will happen in moments, because you are no longer fighting against the current. You are flowing with the river of your destiny. You are going to see doors open that have no handles. You are going to meet people who recognize your spirit before you even introduce yourself. This is the favor that comes with the name, but listen to me closely. Do not try to walk this path alone. The wolf always waits for the sheep that wanders away from the flock. You need a community. You need to be around other people who are waking up, other members of the remnant who understand the language of the spirit. This channel is more than just videos. It is a gathering place for the chosen. We are sharpening each other. We are reminding each other who we are when the world tries to make us forget. Stay engaged. Keep feeding your spirit. The world is going to get louder, and you will need a place to come back to where you can reset your frequency and remember your rank. We are going to continue to go deeper into these mysteries. We are going to continue to unlock the tools you need to win. Before you leave, realize this. The fact that you watched until the very end is a sign. Your spirit was starving for this. Do not walk away from the table without securing your seat. Subscribe now. It costs you nothing, but it invests everything into your spiritual growth. Join us. Your next breakthrough is already loading in the next video. And remember, you are chosen, and your name is powerful.